The views and opinions expressed by the guest author or speaker during this live session are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of Reader's Magnet. The content shared is for informational purposes only and does not constitute endorsement or promotion of any particular belief, ideology, or product.
Yes, hello, authors, book lovers, and storytellers. Welcome to another session here in Reader's Magnet's featured author interview. My name is Leah, and I will be your host for today. And with me is one of the Reader's Magnet's featured author. And yes, today she will be sharing to us what this book is all about, her as an author, and of course, what inspired her to write this book. So, everyone, let's all welcome Miss Maya Butalid, author of the book Chasing Windmills. Yes. Hi, Maya. How are you doing? It's good to see you.
Yeah, hi. Yeah, I'm doing fine. It's
Wow.
now evening, quarter to 11 in the evening here in the Netherlands. So
Oh,
I've had
okay.
yeah, so I've had a
Uh-huh.
long day.
Yes, and then right now you're having this kind of session, and thank you so much, Maya, for really choosing Reader's Magnet to be part of this, for allowing us to be part of your journey. And of course, we'd like to know more about you, the author of this book, and really your journey behind, having this successful creation, which is the book Chasing Windmill. So we get to know more about that later on. But before we do that, yes, we'd like to know who Miss Maya Butalid is. So, yes, a little bit of self introduction, please.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm from the Philippines, but I have lived in the Netherlands already for 42 years. So when I came here, I was just a young woman of 25 years old. I have two daughters. They're all adults, and I have four grandchildren. My two daughters were born here, and four grandchildren, of course. And yeah, what can I tell about myself? Uh, I finished my master's degree here in the Netherlands, psychology,
Wow.
and I'm also active not only in the Philippines but actually also here. I became long ago a city councilor in the city where I lived for 7 years, and before I came here, I was already active in the movement then in the Philippines because we were under martial law, and as students, you are idealistic. So I became active. That was my first political yeah, involvement in my life. And yeah, I'm practically retired, so I don't have to work to earn my living, but I'm still very active in the social setting here in the Netherlands, but also in the Philippines.
Wow. Thank you so much, Maya. Thank you for that. So, yes, and really we'll get to know more information about the book, the life in the Philippines, and now you're in Netherlands, so as an activist, right? So this book, I must say, it is actually the collection recounts of the life you have in the Philippines, highlighting the activism against the dictatorship of that specific president, Mr. Marcos, during the studies at the University of the Philippines, right? So you spent a decade in Netherlands, and right now an activist from, I believe that that was from 1983 to 1993, if I'm not mistaken. You could tell us
Yes,
more.
when I came to the Netherlands, but before that, in my
Mhm.
student year, days, I was already active from 1977.
Wow,
In
amazing. During
1983, we were sent, me and my husband, to the Netherlands to help
mhm.
in the solidarity work for the Philippine struggle.
Wow. So yes, this is so interesting. This is so interesting, Maya. So yeah, it's now time to know more information about your book. So yes, what inspired you to begin, writing, chasing windmills, and was there a particular, let's say, moment or memory that sparked it? When did you start it?
Yeah. Now, well, actually, I have been wanting to write my book, but I never really got farther than just making notes in my laptop and in my notebooks. And because I thought I have lived a very eventful life, and I wanted to get that out and share it to others. But then in May 2017, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. So it
Mm.
was for me actually a call up uh, um, wake up call. Sorry, it was for me a wake up call that I should really seriously start writing my book. And so after my operation and my radiation in September 2017, I started gathering all my notes and started to write seriously my book. And in June 2022, it came out. It was published. So that was
Wow.
so it was actually my breast cancer which really pushed me. You should do this
Mm-hmm.
because yeah, there is a
Wow.
deadline because I
Mm-hmm.
thought, oh, I could die. So before I die, I better write my book.
Exactly. And now you're already sharing it to among as many people, Maya.
Yeah.
And at the same time, the good thing about your book, it's really not just about you sharing your whole, journey, the experience you've had from the past. At the same time, it's really advocating for a specific cause and agenda. Because you know what? I've seen your book online and you've been getting a lot of positive feedback, good reviews from your readers, because at the same time, the book really resonates with especially with the Filipino immigrants, throughout the
Yes.
book, you really showed a deep love for your homeland, and the relentless pursuit of knowledge really shine through on this book, the old soul, which I found particularly moving, in this specific book. So wow, that's really amazing, and you
Yeah.
did really great on this, Maya.
Because actually, it's not just narrating the events in my life. It's especially more about my reflections on them.
Right.
So
Wow.
that's what I wanted to share. So hopefully, with those experience and reflections, people would be inspired. People can also get ideas how they could
Mm-hmm.
navigate in the societies where they are in, the overseas Filipinos.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, really illustrating your journey from the Philippines to Netherlands and now in America. I mean, wow, that's just so amazing. Thank you, Maya. Now, also, Maya, you mentioned initially writing this book for your daughters and grandchildren, right? Now, how did their reactions shape your decision to publish it?
Yeah. Well, actually, I when I showed them the manuscript, I already made a decision to publish it. So it's actually more, I gave them the copy of the manuscript and I told them,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I'm going to publish my book, my story. But of course, since I'm your mother, I also mentioned parts of my experiences involving them. So
Mm-hmm.
please read it. And then if there are things you want to omit, you want me to get, yeah, to change, let me know. Uh, and because otherwise, if you don't let me know about it and it gets published, then you have already missed your opportunity to get things out which you do not want to have in my book. And actually, I was very surprised and happy. Both of them, I have two daughters, told me, "Oh, mom, it's okay. Uh, you can have it. You can publish it. We're okay with it." After
Mm-hmm.
reading the manuscript.
Yes, and they must be very happy because you know what? It's actually the family history, your own journey. I
Yeah,
mean, there's really a curiosity, the pride, as well as the desire to really understand the heritage. Let's say inspired you to share
yeah,
this as well as showing the importance of let's say preserving the legacy for the future generations, which
yeah,
you've already shared it to your
yeah,
grandchildren. Ensuring
yeah.
that they really appreciate the strength and the values that shape the just like what I mentioned earlier, it's about the family history, the broader fight for let's and at the same time it's really about the justice in the Philippines, sharing it
Mhm.
to them. Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
This
And
is really a
actually,
great
I
journey.
wrote also a lot about how I brought them up in two cultures. Because of course they
Right.
were born here in the Netherlands, but with Filipino roots, with Filipino parents, which me and my husband find important to impart to them. But at the
Exactly.
same time, with the acceptance and knowledge that this is their society and they should be
Hmm.
able to navigate within this society with that
Hmm.
background. So I also wrote a lot about it, how to raise children in two cultures.
All right. Wow. Interesting. We're gonna talk more about that later on,
Yeah,
Maya. And now, also the title "Chasing Windmills" is a clear nod to Don Quixote. Why did
yeah.
you choose this metaphor for your life's journey?
Well, the story of Don Quixote is that he actually chased fought windmills, thinking they were giants or oppressors, and it was his quest for goodness and nobility. And actually, that part of the story, um, which I made reference to with my life story, because the challenges in my life, my windmills are the challenges in my life, which I was able to overcome or to succeed.
Right.
So,
Wow.
and also, of course, windmills is associated with the Netherlands, and well, Netherlands
Mm-hmm.
as my second home now. So I thought that's an appropriate title. So
Right, right.
it
Yeah, and it's
refers
really
to,
captivating.
yeah, yeah,
Right. I
yeah,
like that. I like that Maya, idealistic quest against the impossible odds that you've been through.
yeah,
The
yeah.
activism against the coupled with your decade abroad advocating for human rights,
Mhm.
furthering the education you have. It really embodies the perseverance and unwavering commitment to the ideals, despite obstacles, despite the
Mhm.
challenges that that may seem, um, let's say impossible, but like titling at windmills, it really pursues the noble but elusive goals that you have right now.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah, yeah. Maybe not so elusive goals, but yeah, it's actually the idealism that I have. But also,
Mm-hmm.
when you are in a different culture, you have to constantly check with yourself which part
Mm-hmm.
of the culture you want to imbibe, and which part not. And I also have to realize that I was also actually evolving, and part of that is to check with myself: am I
Mm-hmm.
evolving in the right direction?
Right.
You're always constantly, um, yeah, checking yourself when you are living in two cultures, and then
Mm-hmm.
how to remain true to my principles. So that's actually also the
Right.
windmills that I have faced, actually.
Wow. Yeah, interesting. And since we're talking about cultures right now, Maya, the two different societies that you've lived, between these two different societies, the Philippines and the Netherlands, how was this duality shaped your identity, both personally and
Yeah.
politically?
Yeah, I think on the personal level, I think I can best describe it as with what my eldest daughter once told me. When she said that she told me that actually, mom, when you are in the Netherlands, you are so Filipino. But when we are in the Philippines for our vacation trips, she would tell me, and there in the Philippines, you are so Dutch. So actually, I just realized that I will always have both these traits of Filipino traits and the traits of the Dutch.
Mm-hmm.
So that's also a realization I have on the personal level. Because actually, yesterday also I had a conversation with some Filipinos and Filipinas, and they told me, yeah, I really have a difficulty because I'm nowhere. I'm not here in the Netherlands. I don't feel at home, and in the Philippines, I have changed so much, so I don't belong to any. And I told them, we evolved, and we have to realize that we will always have both the traits. So, and
Right.
yeah,
Wow,
so
that's interesting. Yeah, so it's really about the understanding of let's say the diverse social,
yeah.
political, culture realities, fostering a deep appreciation for resilience, and at the same time about talking about the social justice on how you're gonna live to it. The duality has really cultivate I must say a resilient adaptable environment. No, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and politically also, I think it is here in the Netherlands where I actually really experienced and learned what is democracy and transparency. Because of course, when I
Wow.
came here, it was martial law in the Philippines. So as
Mm-hmm.
a young girl, I've never really experienced democracy, and I could not vote then yet. And
Mm-hmm.
also, what I experience here, which I really value, is working in a flat organization. in contrast to a top-down organization, which is more common in the Philippines.
Mm-hmm.
So it actually also had an impact on how I see things, also politically, and the nature
Personally.
of my present activism now in
Right.
the Netherlands.
Wow. Yes, yes. Because in the Philippines, we experience the, let's say, the vibrancy and let's struggles of the society, fighting for democracy, which really
Mhm.
fuel the activism against the dictatorship
Mhm.
we have at that time. But in Netherlands, you really gained a broader perspective on human rights, the tolerance, the institutional democracy, and that's really interesting. A commitment to social change and psychological well-being, right, by
Mhm.
really adapting to what environment that you're in. Wow, that's amazing. It's really
Mhm.
such a roller coaster
Yeah,
journey,
yes,
Maya.
sure.
Yeah, changing. Now, also in the book, you recount delusionment with the CPP and its leadership. Now, looking back, what do you think are, let's say, the most valuable lessons from your time in the movement, and what do you think needs to change in today's activism?
Yeah. Now, maybe to start with the term disillusionment, that may not be the accurate term. I would rather formulate is it as I have outgrown the CPP.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not disillusioned, but I have outgrown it. And I
Mm-hmm.
think the most valuable lesson I learned when I was in the movement, which I still carry now, is I really have internalized the concept of serving the people, especially serving the marginalized section of society. And actually, when I was a city councilor here in Tilburg, my party mates of the Dutch Labour Party even noticed that.
Mm-hmm.
Because when we talk about new laws or new regulations, I always brought out, okay, how will this affect the people? What
Right.
does this mean for the people? So it's not just so. I'm very consistent about that, and they saw that, and that's why they're also very appreciative. We have new things to discuss, they would always ask me, "What do you think, Maya?" So, and somebody even told me, actually, you are the conscience of our party. So
Yeah.
yeah, and I think what could change in the activism, present day activism, I
Mm-hmm.
think that point of democracy and transparency. I think
I like that. I like that.
we should
Mm-hmm.
have more democracy and transparency in our activism, and I think the activists should be more involved in determining what to do and also in evaluating the actions that they have undertaken. So
Mm-hmm.
it will ensure that the organization will be a learning organization and not just following dogma and okay, which because with the dogma it doesn't change even if the situation has changed, but if the activists are really involved in
Mm-hmm.
analyzing the situation, but also in coming up with proposals for action, okay, what do we do? And
I
in
like that.
learning, then
Mm-hmm.
it will also evolve with the times.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why actually that's why I went out of the movement in 1993 because
Mm-hmm.
that's what I mean with I have outgrown the CPP and the movement because it did not grow with the times with the change of the times, so it stayed on with its dogma. And I think that is something we have really to fix in the present activism
Activism.
in the Philippines. Yeah.
Right.
Uh,
Wow. I totally agree with you on that. Maya, the experience you have really underscores that leadership must remain accountable and open to diverse voices. Especially that, just like what you mentioned earlier, today's activism should prioritize the inclusivity, the transparency, and at the same time, the adaptive what process, or let's say strategies that would also
mhm.
respond to evolving social dynamics, ensuring
Yes.
that our movements remain true, because again, transparency is very important, true to the core principles, while fostering sustainable um, change.
Yes.
That's wow. That's really amazing. Thank you so much for that, Maya. And yes, Maya. Before we end our session, is there a message that you'd like to give out to our viewers?
Yeah. Well, actually, my book, I have written my book especially for overseas Filipinos because we are confronted in another culture, another country, and I actually want to really encourage them to integrate in the country, in the society where they are in, and we should realize that actually um, uh, even though we are so much integrated in the society we are in, we will really never become less Filipinos. So because I've heard from other Filipinos, yeah, maybe yeah, if I integrate too much, if I participate too much in this society, maybe I will be less Filipino, or they feel guilty about their being Filipino. But I would always say, no, actually we have to learn new things in the countries where we are, because that is
Mm-hmm.
what we can bring
Right.
back to the Philippines, for example, and then it doesn't really make you less of a Filipino. We will always be Filipinos in
Totally
our
agree.
heart. Yeah.
Yes, wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that, Maya. Really appreciate it. And you know what? It was really an interesting, discussion talking about the chasing windmills and as well as your journey. Thank you so much, Maya. And really, it is such an honor for our for us Filipinos. You are really a pride to Filipinos. And really thank you so much,
Thank
Maya,
you
for
also.
again
Yeah.
for choosing Reader's Magnet to be part of this journey to share your experience you've had from the Philippines to Netherlands, and right now as an activism I mean activist, and who really wanted to have that sustainable change to a better future, a better tomorrow, a better world for everyone. Wow, thank you so much for that, Maya. And yes, everyone, this is our author, Ms. Maya Butalid, author of the book Chasing Windmills. And if you'd like to get a copy of her book, that's available in Amazon.com and also her website, do check www.mayabutalid.com. So again, Ms. Maya Butalid, thank you so much. And yeah, that's it for me. As we say it here in Reader's Magnet, we share your story with the world. Bye bye. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Bye. Thank you also. Yeah.